I'm working on a book now of stories of Gedolim Israel that impacted me. And I always try to come to the Shabbos table with some stories. And I'll tell you why. The mommy works so hard. She goes and she cooks and she bakes. Chach, when she comes to the Shabbos table, let her get nachas, sing the kinderlach, singing Zemiris, coming to the table with some parsha questions. Maybe someone can ask a riddle, a Torah riddle, to get everyone involved in discussion. And say some geschmacka stories. Otherwise, a kid eats, leaves the table, goes to play, and that's not covered. Imagine a king was coming to your house. Would you leave the table? So you have to know Shabbos, the Shechina, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is coming to your house. The Malachim are coming to your house. Don't run off the table. Bring a story. Bring a song. One of the things that gets me angry, and I try not to get angry ever, is if I see a Suda Shabbos where everyone's eating and drinking and helping themselves to a real delicious meal. If I don't hear Dvar Torah and I don't hear singing, I get angry. I say, listen, even a guy can eat a meal. What is that called? That's the mitzvah of Suda Shabbos, to eat chont? A guy could also eat chont. What makes it a beautiful Suda is great stories, great songs, and good compliments. From now on, your mother cooks you something, say, Mommy, this was delicious. You should be gebenched. And a mother, she should respond, thank you, I'm so happy you're enjoying it. Now let me tell you a great story. There was once a great Rosh Hashiva named Leib Chasman. Once in the middle of his drasha, he was teaching many Talmidim, a Meshuggah walked in to interrupt him. It seems that almost every community has someone who's known to be not well mentally. I know someone in our shul, he comes in all the time, he's not well, and he just starts making, it's an unfortunate soul. Sometimes he's loud, and the Rav has to ask him to be quiet. Sometimes people say, please don't disturb, go to a different shul. Some people call them the Shtat Meshuggah, which means the town insane person. We have to thank Hashem every day that we're not Meshuggah. Turns out, the Meshuggah, sometimes they say things that are cute or funny. He got up and he interrupted the Rav's drasha, Leib Chasman's drasha. And he said, I have an announcement. The Rav here is the greatest Rav since Moshe Rabbeinu. And he starts exaggerating about the Rav. He is the Rav Akiva Eger of our time. He is Mamish Azoi Eliyahu Hanavi. The more he's praising him, the more it's silly. People were even surprised that the Meshuggah even knew who these people were. And he's sitting there bragging. He's the biggest and the best and the nicest and the smartest and the happiest and the goodest person. After he bragged about the rabbi, and people said, shh, the Rav's speaking, let him speak. So he left, and Leib Chasman said, I know this might sound funny, but even though we knew he was exaggerating, and I'm not that great person he described, but you know what really felt good when he was praising me? I was really tickled. I was really comforted. It actually felt great. Even though I know who's saying the compliment is not someone who's well, he's mentally ill, but it still felt good. So he said, Alachas kama v'kama. If you call a person and you tell them a kind word, you tell them you're a great person, you don't realize how you're going to make the person feel good. If I felt good even when a Meshuggah was benching me, how much more? So make it a habit, kids. Compliment people. Tell your sister, your room is so nice. You vacuum so good. Tell your brother, I like your svarim. They're so pretty. Get in the habit of being a positive person, and then you won't fall in the trap of being a negative person. Sometimes in the middle of the night, a person wakes up for a drink or maybe to go to the bathroom, and it's disturbing. Person's enjoying his sleep, he's dreaming. No one likes to have to get out of their cozy blanket and look for their slippers and find where their yarmulke fell off and then go to the refrigerator and then go to the bathroom. But I want to tell you what you could do the next time it happens. You could remember Reb Shach or the Belzer Rebbe. Let me explain. The Belzer Rebbe used to sometimes sleep very little. But even when he slept, he woke up and immediately he washed Netilas Yadayim, Negovasser, and then he would pray for someone. And say, please Hashem, give a full shalema, so and so. And then he would go back to sleep, but he didn't sleep much. Reb Shach, many times in the middle of the night, would go to the bookcase in his sleep and pull out a Gemara, look up a Taisvis, and then go back to sleep a little bit. Or in the middle of his sleep, he would wake up and go to the bookcase and pull out a Rambam and read a few lines and go back to sleep. What's Pshat? So I think the Pshat is, the Belzer Rebbe in his dream, he must have thought about an unfortunate Jew. So if he woke up, he said, let me pray for them. And you might think you only have to pray to Hashem in shul with a minyan. It's not true. You can pray to Hashem anywhere. And let me tell you something interesting. The Gemara in Brachas Daf Gimel says that every 4 hours of the night, the Malachim switch groups singing to Hashem, and at that time, Hashem roars like a lion. And he says, woe to my children that were exiled from the land of Israel. What does a father have that his sons were kicked off his table? And Hashem roars, and he cries like a lion. A lion's roar is very loud. It can be heard further than any creature. 5 miles away, you could hear a lion's roar. Hashem's roar, it could be heard. Big tzaddikim could even probably hear it. And it's a big Eis Ratzon. It's a very auspicious time. Auspicious means a very good time that you could pray for someone. We should all have a little pad of people we daven for. One page for people who need a shidduch, or maybe someone who needs to have children, or maybe someone who doesn't have a job, or maybe someone who's sick. And you should update the list. Sometimes the sick person died. You have to cross off their name. Sometimes they got better. You have to cross off their name. If you don't daven for others, it's a sign of selfishness. You only care for yourself. But when you pray for others, you become a better person. Someone once asked, why did Avram Avinu daven for the people of Sodom? Hashem tells him about Sodom, so you should daven for them. So Rabbi Frand asked, but what do you mean? They were Rishayim. Hashem knew they were going to get killed, the people of Sodom, because they were so wicked. They used to torture people. So why did he tell Avram that I'm about to destroy the city of Sodom? Pray for them. So Chazal say that really Avram's tefillah wasn't going to help the people of Sodom. It would help himself become a better person. Because when you pray for others, you become a better person. I don't know if you're on the Madrega of Reb Shach to pull out a sefer and start looking up a Rashi in the middle of your sleep. But at least you could be like the Madrega of the Belzer Rebbe, which was able to daven for others. That doesn't take so much concentration like reading a sefer. Do that. There was once a robber who broke into a rabbi's house. And this rabbi's name is Rabbi Grossman. And he has a big city in Eretz Yisrael that he's the Rav of. It's called Migdal Emek, which means the Tower of the Valley. And this whole community, I was never there, but it's really like Balei Tshuva. People who were once non-religious, they were Chilonim, Freie Yidden, and now they became Shomer Torah Mitzvahs. And he's the Rav, and he's a very beloved person throughout the world. He's one of the most respected rabbis in our time. They even wanted to make him the chief rabbi of Israel, and he said no. No, thank you. But listen what happened. One time a robber broke into his house, or his office, to steal. And it was on Shabbos. And he heard noise, and he went, and he saw someone stealing. So he locked the door. So now the Ganav was basically locked in. And he was like shocked. It's a good thing he didn't have a gun. Maybe Chas v'Shalom, he would have wanted to, get rid of any witnesses. God forbid. So the rabbi says to him, can I help you? What are you doing here? And he doesn't know what to say. What's he supposed to say? I was borrowing some things. Maybe he was like Robin Hood, who stole from the rich to give to the poor with his bow and arrows. I don't think Robin Hood has a heter to steal. But listen what happened. The rabbi didn't get angry at him. Listen what he said. He said, I'm going to give you a choice. I could call the police now and have you arrested. They could put you in jail, maybe a few months, a few years. Or you come and spend the Shabbos with me, the Sabbath, from Friday night till Motzei Shabbos. And if you spend the Shabbos in my company, I'll forgive you. I won't even tell the police. I'll forget this whole incident. Okay, I just have to be your guest for the Sabbath? He said, yes. And he wanted this Friday Yid, see what a Shabbos is. He saw the Friday night davening, the singing, the relaxation, the comfort, the food, the zmiris, the Torah. By the time Shabbos was over, he was so turned on to Yiddishkeit, he decided to abandon his wicked ways, and he became a Baal Tshuva. And he became now a religious Jew. One more story I'd like to share with you in this session. And this is a story about Isser Zalman Meltzer. He's the father-in-law of Reb Aaron Kotler, big Rosh Hashiva of Slitsk. I think I said this story, but I'll say it again. One day, someone saw him going up the stairs to his house and then going down the stairs. Going up the stairs, going down the stairs. This was already a little bizarre and strange. Who goes up and down? How many times can you forget something? Plus, he wasn't a young kid that runs up and down. You're talking about an elderly man who I'm sure the footsteps, take extra strength. So someone was very curious. He said, please, Rebbe, is everything okay? Why is the Rebbe going up and down? And he said, I'll tell you why. I invite a housekeeper to clean the house to cover Shabbos on Thursdays. And to help my wife to clean the house. Many women can't handle cleaning the house all by themselves, especially if Kenai and her, the children, are professional experts at making a mess. So, they come. And this lady that we invite to help clean up is a widow. And when I was coming into my house, I noticed that she was singing. A man is not supposed to hear a lady sing. Unless maybe it's his wife, then it's okay, but it's not a stranger. It's Kol Isha. It's not Sneas. So I didn't want to tell her, excuse me, I'm home, stop singing, because I felt bad. She's a widow. Her life is broken to pieces. Her husband died. A widow is a tzabrach in a person. So why should I stop her from singing? If she's humming a tune to help her get through the day, sometimes a person sings a song and that song lifts his spirits. Do I have a right to break her spirits because it's my house? So I went back down. Then I went back up a little later. Maybe she stopped singing. She was still singing, so I left my house and I went back down. So I kept on checking every now and then and I thought she's done, and she wasn't done. Do you hear the sensitivity, boys? And I'm not such a big tzaddik yet, but let me tell you, it happened to me today. I walked into the cheder to photocopy the new lesson plan for the week, where I typed up all the things we're doing next week, Be'ez Hashem, and the homeworks. And as I was walking in to the copy room, the copy person was dozing off and basically asleep. And I could have walked in and said, and say, hello. So Grada, the copy person, can't hear, is hearing impaired, deaf. So even if I would have tried making noise, I wouldn't have woke her up. But I said to myself, do I have the right to wake up someone who's exhausted from just because of this? And that's why I walked right back out. I made a U-turn. And you know what the purpose of the U-turn was? I said to myself, Baruch Hashem, it's Erev Shabbos. let her catch her rest.